Hi, this is Crystal from Crystallized Designs, and today I'm going to show you how to make this cute little star scrubby. And I'm using Lily Sugar and Cream Scrub Off. And I have the second cake of yarn. And if you want to read my review on what I thought of this yarn, I will also link that as well. And I'm hoping that in this tutorial I can use more of the cotton rather than this scrubby type material because it is easier to see the stitches and exactly what I'm doing with the cotton. But I'm going to be making one of these today. And you will need a tapestry needle or a yarn needle, a scissors, and measuring tape to check gauge. This Star Scrubby, if you use this yarn, it's going to vary depending on how much of the cotton and how much of the scrubby cotton that you're actually using per scrubby. My white one is slightly bigger, not where the cotton is per se, but the scrubby material does make it a little less large. If you're using a different kind of yarn, your size is also going to vary, but try to match gauge as best as possible. So let's go ahead and start making one of these. I am using my Furls Odyssey H hook, and yes, I did pick the H hook because it's blue and matches the yarn. I'm funny like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to first start with a magic circle. And in that magic circle, we are going to chain one and then work half double crochets. We want 12 half double crochets in that circle. This feels like a very thick cotton when working with it, to me. And again, if you want to read my review on this cotton scrubby yarn, by all means, I will link that. Alright, I'm not counting because I was talking, so let's see here. 2, 4, whoops, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, and 12. We're going to pull that close and we're going to join to the first half double crochet. So that's easy. Pull that tight. Okay, for round two, again, I really hope this cotton, because once you get the working over the stitches, that will make things easier to understand. So for round two, we are going to chain two. Any beginning chains do not count as a stitch. We are going to double crochet into the same. All right, we're going to skip 2 double crochets and work 3 double crochets into that third stitch from your hook, or the next stitch. 2, whoops, 3. We are going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to work 3 double crochets in the first skipped stitch, working over these 3 double crochets. So here's that first skip stitch. I have my yarn, I'm working over it, and you might need to pull up a larger loop just to get over those stitches. So I'm working 3 double crochets over that stitch. And what I mean by pulling up a larger loop, so instead of it ending right here, I'm pulling it up a little bit higher than normal. Oh, that one's a little loose. We're just going to let it. Okay, so now you might have to tug and play with these stitches just to get them flat. If they're already flat, it's no big deal, but you might have to play with that. Whoops, insert my hook the right way here. Okay, so we have the 3 double crochets in the first skip stitch. Now we're always, after working in that first double crochet, we're going to work in the next one ahead. We're not going to work into that second skipped stitch. We're just going to let that open. And then we're going to double crochet in the next stitch. So here's the first 3. So I'm going to work in the next one a double crochet, and then I'm going to work 3 double crochets. I'm going to skip 2 double crochets, and I'm going to work 3 double crochets into the 3rd stitch from my hook. 2, 3. I'm going to chain 3 again. 2, 3. Now here's the first skipped stitch and the second skipped stitch. We're going to work 3 double crochets, working over the 3 made into that first skipped stitch. 2, 3. Okay, I'm going to move those stars out of the way here. Alright, so again, I'm going to kind of play with these, get them kind of flat. And then I'm going to work another double crochet into the next double crochet. So that is kind of the repeat. So you're going to double crochet, skip 2, 3 double crochets in the next, chain 3, 3 double crochets in the first skip stitch. So we're going to repeat that again. So I'm just going to work a double crochet. I'm going to skip 2, work 3 double crochets into the next stitch. I'm going to chain 3. I'm going to work 3 double crochets into the first skip stitch, working over the previous 3 double crochets. Oh, and we're getting to scrubby yarn. Alright, so that is the basics of this pattern. We're going to join to the first double crochet and get in there. Okay, so we have this cute little triangle at the end of round 2. For round 3, I will be working with the scrubby yarn, so it's definitely going to be harder to see. I will try to point out where the stitches go as best as possible, but bear with me. Okay, for round 3, so this round now has 21 stitches. Round 2 has 21 stitches. I don't count any of the chains, I just count the stitches. For round 3, we are going to chain 2, and we're going to double crochet in the same, like so. Alright, now we're going to skip 2, 1, 2, and work 3 double crochets into that next stitch. 1, 2, and 3. We're going to chain 3. Oops. Okay. Now we're going to work 3 double crochets into the first skipped stitch, working over the 3 just made. This part of the yarn is what I find harder to work with. And again, we're just going to play with those stitches, get them flat and even. Alright, like so. Alright, so next we're going to double crochet in the next chain 3 space. Just like that. Okay. Now we're going to skip 2 double crochets and work 3 double crochets into the next stitch. We are going to chain 3. Pardon me if you hear that noise. My little guy is supposed to be napping, but he is getting out of naps, and he is kicking his bed at the moment. Okay, 2, 3. Alright, so I skipped 2, I worked 3 double crochets, chain 3, and then I worked over into that first stitch, working 3 more double crochets. So now, because I don't have a chain 3 space, I'm going to double crochet into the next double crochet, like so. I'm going to skip 2 double crochets and work 3 double crochets into the next stitch. I'm going to chain 3 into that first skip stitch. I'm going to work 3 double crochets. This actually isn't so bad with where to place the stitches because the second round is all of the smooth cotton, whereas, whoops, get in there. Whereas when I worked this one, it was harder to see the stitches and where exactly to place round 2 into that. My little guy is going nuts, kicking his bed. Okay, so we are to the chain 3 space. So what we're going to do is we're going to repeat that whole process 1 additional time. So we're going to double crochet into the chain 3 space. We are going to skip 2 and work 3 double crochets into the next double crochet. We're going to chain 3, work 3 double crochets into that first skipped stitch, like so. Flatten that out a little bit. Double crochet into the next double crochet. Oh, now he's yelling. Oh, I'm going to miss nap times. I really am. Okay, so we're going to skip 2. Again, we're just repeating this. We're going to 3 double crochet into the next stitch. We are going to chain 3. We are going to 3 double crochet into the first skipped stitch. Like, whoops. So, flatten that out a little bit. Alright, now we are to the end of the repeat, and we did that repeat just 1 additional time. So now we're just going to finish up this little section right here. So we're going to double crochet into the chain 3 space. We're going to skip 2, work 3 double crochets. We're going to chain 3. We're going to work 3 double crochets into that first skip stitch, working over the previous 3 just made. And 2 and 3. Alright, gonna fix those stitches. It's easier to flatten the stitches when it is the cotton, but I really like how this one turned out. We're going to join to the first double crochet. I'm going to finish it off like so, and I won't weave in my ends for this video, but that is our 3rd star, and I'm using about, depending on how much of the cotton, smooth cotton versus the scrubby cotton, I use about 12 to 15 yards for each of these, and like I said, it varies with depending on how much smooth cotton versus the scrubbier cotton. But that is how you create this star-shaped scrubby, and they're great to use. I really love using handmade crocheted scrubbies, and this is just for August because August has a big meteor shower, and so I wanted to create a star form for the meteor shower. And so that is how you make this scrubby. If you enjoyed this tutorial and would like to be notified every time there's a tutorial or a pattern release, make sure to hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you later. Thank you. Bye.